Hey Hope, it's Pastor Paul, and I am so excited that you're joining us on our Daily Dose of Hope. This is our first one, and we are planning on doing these every day as we walk through this COVID-19 pandemic that's going on in our community. But you know what? This is something that we want to be doing all the time, developing the habit of having chair time. And so we're excited about this. Here's another added feature that if you want to this afternoon, you'll see on the feed below that there's going to be a link for a Zoom meeting or for a gathering to discuss what we're talking about today and anything else that's going on in your life. And so you can pay attention to that. So let's get going on our daily dose of hope. I want to remind us that Jesus in the Gospels, when he's talking to Peter and the other disciples, he said these words, "I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it." I love that. I love that because that reminds us that the church isn't a building. The church isn't a place. It's not a program. The church is people, right? And Jesus is saying, I'll build you. And so some of us are sitting wondering, how is this all going to happen right now when we are in isolation? That's partly Jesus' job. He says, I will build the church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. And so one of the things that we get to do over the next weeks, the months, the years, through the rest of our life is make ourselves available to Jesus so that he can build us and build each other. Another thing I want to remind us of in John chapter 13, in verse 34 and 35, it says, "A new command I give you." Let me just read it right from the Bible. Jesus says these words, "A new command I give you, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also should love one another. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples if you love one another." By this, all people will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. My son and I, Daniel, were in Kenya, Africa, and we had been driving and going through the day, and we saw this sign out front on the side of a building. It was an instantly recognizable sign. It actually was a logo. The logo was very similar to this, right? And we instantly recognized it. We thought, like, it gave us a craving. It gave us a desire to go buy a Coke almost anywhere in the world. If you see, you won't recognize maybe the words exactly like that, but you'll recognize the image and it'll remind you of Coca-Cola. This is another image that you'll recognize. It is this image here. It reminds you of Starbucks, of course, right? These logos are like instantly recognized. Here's another one that maybe you'll recognize, maybe you won't. This is our university's logo, the Fighting Hawks. But here's the deal. There's this logo that becomes instantly recognizable. Jesus says that the logo of his people, the logo of his church, is love. Love one another just as I have loved you. And by this, all people will know that you're my disciples. Imagine what it would be like if everybody who watched us, everybody who listened to us, recognized the logo of love. And they would think in the back of their minds, that person must be a follower of Jesus. So here's what comes into my head. Like, I can't manufacture that. I can't make myself that kind of lover, but what if? What if my relationship with Jesus was so real, this vertical relationship was so real and so intimate and so consistent that he was pouring this love into me? And then I could take that and pour it out to others. The vertical and the horizontal, the image of the cross in our lives, through our chair time, through our intimacy with him, and through our relationships with others, we can become the logo of Jesus, the love of Jesus. Here's a couple tips for us this week to work on. Again, not in our own strength, but out of our relationship with him, we can start to do things like, here's a way that we can practice loving each other, especially during this time. Just call each other. Right? When you think of somebody, rather than just think of them, actually pick up your phone and make a phone call. Right? Pray for them. Pray for each other as we go through our day. When someone's name comes to your mind or their face comes to your mind, pray for them. When you call them, listen to them. That's one of the things Bonnie tells me all the time. Bonnie, for those of you who don't know, is my wife. She says one of the ways that I can demonstrate my love for her is to listen to her. And then here's something else I heard a family's been doing. Like every morning, they sit down and they have some cards. And they're sending a card to somebody every day that matters to them. These are practical ways during the COVID-19 crisis that we can demonstrate love, but not just from ourselves, but out of our relationship with Jesus. To love like Jesus did, to love him, and to love others. Have a great day. This is your Daily Dose of Hope. Thank you for arriving with us today.